In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on Look at My Star Trek Toys! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys. It's a little show where me and my buddy Mike look at Playmates action figures from back in the day. But now we have grown, we have matured, we have blossomed into a show that is largely now about custom action figures built by you. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Keith. We're getting some entries already into the hideously disfigured customs, which is we're gonna collect some more of those before we get to that. But yeah, this show is really it's grown. It's like me. I've evolved into my. I was looking at that wonderful shot of me in the opening, Keith, where I'm just so young and fresh faced and brown haired and. Things have evolved, as you said, and we're excited. I'm excited to be here. Thank you to all of you joining us who've checked out our content on the channel. We got more coming. We're everywhere, Keith.
Yes, indeed.
We're like the Star Trek universe expanding.
We are expanding both literally and figuratively. But actually, that's a great reminder. Yes, so we mentioned a couple of episodes ago that we want your fantastic, perfectly molded, brilliant artistic figures. But we kind of want to do an episode about the stuff that went horribly wrong, the abominations that shouldn't exist, that wish they had never been created, because I think that would be a really fun
We want to put a
episode.
Content warning at the front of the episode. That's how hideous we want.
Trigger warnings. So if you have built a figure that, it didn't go right, something horrible happened in the creation of it, please send it our way. We're going to do a whole episode at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com, where you can send all of the above.
Also,
Mike?
that segues us into another point, Keith. We received a question. I apologize, I can't quote who asked us. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but generally speaking, they said, hey, I've got some customs that aren't based on the specific Playmates, based on the original 90s Playmates line. Is that cool to send? Absolutely. As you said, 100%. We're expanding. We're kind of just getting into customs in general eventually. So yeah, if you have something you think is cool and that you'd like to share with our community, 100%, you can send it over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we focused on the Playmates line because that's the line that I have, but that doesn't mean that we are not fascinated with your Diamond Select customs or any other Star Trek custom, your Mega, whatever it is. Send them our way for sure. We're here to talk about Trek toys.
Yeah,
it does not have to be Playmates specifically. So, in fact, we're going to look at some customs today that are not the 4.5-inch scale.
There you have it.
Hold on to your butt, Mike. Gonna be very excited.
Well, speaking of holding on to butts,
I can't wait to see where this segues.
We would be nothing but an empty bow. Oh boy, how are we gonna do this?
Wait. Okay, so no. You said it. So
we'd
now
like to
we're
thank our patrons for stuffing our butts full of money every month. Brian Kaufman, Casey Clark, Brad Joshua, Andrew Hayes, Jorge Novoa, and the mysterious. Now we know what's so mysterious, what she's doing with her money. Worf's butt chips.
Oh God, it keeps getting worse.
Richard Holman.
What?
Keith, I tried to make poop jokes for everyone, and it's not working out. Charles, too much cabbage. BM Productions.
No.
Nikolai, Eve. I can't do it. I can't.
I'm Griff Toast, Delicious News, JD makes Colin Dagan, Chris Mitchell, and Pat. Oh, God, please save us. At patreon.com/KNO. I thought I thought we had no level of embarrassment worse than your rapping the patrons on an episode of Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine. But somehow
I did have to beg YouTube to let us put that on the YouTube on the internet.
You dug deep and found a sub-basement below our sub-basement. There is no bottom to the stupidity of us.
He said bottom, folks. He said bottom.
Yes, but all right. Wow. Okay. Where are we? I'm entirely lost. Okay, so thank you to the patrons and a thorough apology to the patrons. The patrons hopefully understand what they were getting into when they chose to give us money, and then we punished them with rapping and butt jokes. But if you were like, that was great, I would like to give money to that, you can also give us a super thanks right here on the YouTube. Which definitely supports us directly, and we appreciate it profoundly.
Every time of you, we get one new subscriber, the subscriber numbers tick up. So giving a like, giving a subscribe down below, if you haven't already and you've liked our content, really does help us reach more eyeballs, which gets more eyeballs on these custom creators, which is a net win for everyone. So give us a like, give a subscribe. We appreciate you. I mean it.
For sure. So what do you say we show some mercy on our viewing audience and start showing some figures? We're going to start with a suite of Deep Space Nine figures from our good friend Joshua Cronan, who is also a patron. So you want to know what increases your chances of getting the figures on the show? If you're a patron, yes, we will. We try to sell out in every possible way that we can, but also, Joshua's stuff is phenomenal. And so what I've decided to do as we move forward on the show, when Joshua shows figures, they're going to be figures based on episodes of Deep Space Nine that we have recently reviewed on Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine, also in your podcasting feed. So Mike, buckle up, because when we do this, Mike takes over the show because he now has all the information he needs to explain.
What could go wrong?
We've already. What could go wrong that is worse than what has just happened in the last 5 minutes? So, Mike, let's take a look, shall we?
Make my bidet.
Oh, Jesus.
Grilka!
Yes! From
the House of Quark.
Yes!
One of maybe my favorite episodes so far of the whole show. Keith, imagine, if you will, a Ferengi of all things, who, through some machinations of plot, is murder adjacent to a Klingon.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen when that Klingon's wife came to defend the honor of her husband, or perhaps acquire a new one, Keith? Well, that's what we get in our friend Grilka, who shows a lot of comedic chops as well as strength and a lot of progressive feminine storytelling, and we get it all, and that's being expressed here in an action figure I can't believe is actually not real, because it looks absolutely perfect.
Right? So as usual with Josh's work, he has incredibly, remarkably, astoundingly deep collection of Deep Space Nine. Hey, Mike. Mike, you know how we try not to pull too much focus. He just cuts to a one shot of himself. Unbelievable. And he says to create this figure, it's a B'Etor head from Lursa and B'Etor and skirt, a Kaler chest and midsection, who was Mike, you remember that was Worf's baby mama, and a Guinan shawl painted white. Guinan is Gloria, two of them technically.
That's Whoopi, right?
Whoopi, that's right. So, wow, and then painted. It looks fantastic.
That's really
cool. Great. I love the gold trim around the arms. Fantastic, and so great to have that figure immortalized here. Grilka, really fun. From a very fun episode. And, I hate to spoil things, but will we see Grilka again on Deep Space Nine? Who knows?
My guess is
Perhaps
we've got to see Grilka again.
perhaps we will, perhaps we won't. I don't know. But what we will do is move on to our next figure. Mike, take it away.
Oh, folks, this is Iliana. Now, imagine, if you will, if you took a main character on Deep Space Nine, perhaps Kira Nerys, and put her into an espionage-filled plot where the Cardassians tried to convince her that she is actually a latent CIA Cardassian, a member of the Obsidian Order who's been implanted undercover on Deep Space Nine, but her true origins are that of a Cardassian, and it is full of torture, full of behind the mask magicians going like this. All kinds of cool stuff. And
no, that was the other episode. That was the Dax episode.
You're right. They were kind of tangentially related. Anyway, the cool thing about this episode is that we got a lot of cool close-ups of makeup and just an incredible amount of time in the makeup chair. So I'm so glad that they didn't go for naught and that it's been immortalized. I can't believe they'd actually make this figure once again. This is one you'd think you'd have to have. And here we go. Josh had to do it. You know, if you want something done right, Keith, sometimes you got to do it yourself.
Well, and I mean, obviously it's based on the main Kira figure, but the amount of sculpting that had to go into this, because you couldn't just take a female Cardassian head and pop it onto a Kira figure, because there are no female Cardassian figures produced by Playmates. So all of the sculpting of the Cardassian face and the hair had to be, and the shirt thingy that she's wearing, all that had to be sculpted directly by hand by Josh before painting it all. Including, Mike, did you ever notice the biological difference between male and female Cardassians?
No.
The females have blue spoons.
Oh, I didn't know that the spoons.
Or the males do not have any color in the spoon, which I think is a fascinating and great detail by Michael Westmore in the design there. But yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It's all there, but perhaps we need a little bit more even from this episode with our next figure.
Entek. So in that same episode, Entek was the inquisitor of the Obsidian Order, who was sort of the ringleader of the whole dastardly plot, trying to get Kira's Iliana's father to get caught in a web of lies and have his. It's a whole thing. Watch the show. But this is the Inquisitor. He's very good.
and all right, this is going to be great. Now, we reviewed this episode about 6 days ago.
No, yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember what became of Entek?
Yeah. He gets murdered.
Yes, by who?
That's a spoiler, don't you think?
You're the only person we need to protect spoilers from.
Keith, if I were making let me put it this way. If I was making a diorama of figures, I'd probably have him lying down dead after being spontaneously combusted by, maybe I would pick, I don't know, Quark maybe? No, I didn't mean, that's not what I meant.
Okay, every part of that statement was wrong.
Garrick shoots him.
Vaporized by Garrick. He remember, like on the slate for our episode, he's literally being vaporized. His middle is gone.
Yeah, he's but I would still have him laying down because I can't really do vaporization in my dioramas, Keith.
Sure, you just cut out the middle of it, have a little piece of him connected. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but it's a custom. Hey, Josh.
Oh, we need hole cut out of the center being vaporized by Garrick Entek. Somebody make that. Because they're in the screenshot, they literally cut out a hole out of the center of him as he's actively being vaporized. I feel like that needs to be a figure, right, guys?
Better yet, now I want the magnet. Who did the magnets one time? I want you to be able to magnet his torso off and then replace with the vaporized. So you have vaporized, unvaporized.
Well, that's true. But I think you just leave a little bit. It should be able to stand up on its own. Anyway, customizers. I believe this is possible. I think it was George Alexander's with the mattress. Mattress. Magnets. Anyway, we have another shot of the two of them together that Joshua sent along. And so we showed Josh's Deep Space Nine playset that he had built out on a previous episode of this. And Mike, I'm sure you thought, well, that's got to be all of it, right? No, he just casually sends along pictures of figures that have whole other playsets I've never even seen or didn't even know he had. So,
I don't. Any of our customizers, not just Josh. I don't put anything past.
Yeah,
them.
No, it's extraordinary. So, super fun and very topical for us. I can't wait as the episodes continue. I bet you 50 cents we're going to get more from Joshua as we move forward. And we're going to finish with one last piece, which is not a figure, but from Joshua Cronan. Mike, tell me what this is.
Oh, that's in that episode.
Wait. But you have to say it like he says it.
I don't know what you're pitching me there.
You did it on the show. It's a clock.
Oh, he was so excited about this clock thing. Was this the episode though where they all what was it? Where he was like they were all playing different characters, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was kind of mean. I can't remember. Was it when like it's not when Rumpelstiltskin was there, is it?
No.
No, it's when those other guys were there and they were what was it? Keith, help me out.
Okay. So
it's a clock.
Yeah, it's a clock. No, they brought the telepathic archive back. And then they started doing bad community theater.
Right, because it was telling a story through them.
It was dramatis personae.
Man, that was bad.
It was bad, but we got this amazing
the clock.
prop.
Hold on, we're burying the lead here. He built that?
He built that.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Look at that. There's another shot of it next. You can see from another angle.
That's cool.
Look at that.
That's cool.
Look how freaking cool that is. I'm curious what the scale is. Like, is it? It can't be in the scale of the figures. It's got to be bigger than that. But so cool, painting onto the transparent material. It's instantly recognizable as what it is. It's such a cool prop. Fantastic stuff.
Love it. Yeah, really cool.
It's a clock. It's technically a Sultana clock, as is described. All right. So thank you to Joshua for all of those amazing figures. Guess what? We have a new artist.
Yeah. Welcome.
Coming up next is somebody named Rich Resor, who wrote this, just started watching your channel on YouTube. I recently stumbled across a very old picture archive of some customs I made 20 years ago in college. I wish I still had them, but most got sold to get me through a tough semester. Boy, do we get that. Made $600 though for a struggling college kid. Wasn't too bad. Peace and love, Rich. Yeah, $600, especially in college days.
Yeah.
That's huge. So the next two figures are figures that he created and sold to get his way through college. Boy, if that's the most difficult thing you did to make money in college, you came out pretty well. So this is a B'Elanna Torres figure from Voyager, based on the 9-inch figures, also from Playmates, which we haven't discussed at all. But these ones had actual fabric uniforms that they built here, but they never made a Torres. Mike, what do you think?
Very cool. I can tell the hair sculpt is very unique. The 9-inch seems like it's got some potential. I'd like to see some more of those. Great figure.
Well, but also like the facial sculpt and the Klingon ridges, like that all had to be custom built.
And it seems like it's shrink wrapped in a package.
It's been put back in the package somehow. It's even got the seat belt.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious, Rich, how you did all of that sculpting, because it looks fantastic. Do we have another shot of it? I think we do.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So not only do
That's
we get
rad.
a great shot of the facial sculpt and the Klingon ridges, which had to be sculpted because there was no figure they made of this, but he also built the package. Especially if this was 20 years ago in college, that's some very good early Photoshop work. Or I used Adobe Photo Deluxe when I was in college, about the same time ago, to do stuff like that.
I don't know what it is. I can't articulate it. I wish I could. I've mentioned it in a couple episodes now. It's the packaging. It's the retro packaging. It's the packaging fabrication. It's the whole design element when we get to customs that really blows my mind. Doing the figures is crazy enough, but then coming up with sort of because that's all creative work over there. That's not, I mean, it's based on whatever the template was for those figures, but it's its own, clearly it's got its own copy. He's written, it's cool.
It built his own copy. And all right, so I'm thinking through, all right, 20 years ago, that was 2003, right? So I was out of college, but not that far out of college. So thinking technologically, practically, you couldn't just take that picture of the custom figure with your phone,
right?
Right? It didn't exist at that point. So probably had to take a still picture of it or an early digital photograph.
Well, just think about even masking, right? Because now you've got the AI tools that just like find the edges, but back then you had to.
No, they had to be cut out by hand on in your Photoshop or whatever the program he used. And cut out really well. That's because especially back then that was hard and the resolution was not very high, so you did not have a lot of pixels to play with there. Fantastic, really, really, really cool work. So we have another one from Voyager, also from Rich, and this one is Admiral Catherine Janeway. They did not make this figure as well, so he had to adapt. I think they made a Janeway that he adapted here, but not only had to do a different head sculpt and paint in order to create older Janeway in this. No spoilers onto how this character exists, but also had to build the costume because there was no costume of this in the 9-inch figures, I'm pretty sure. So had to build that by hand as well. Crazy. Full on had to work with literal fabric to make this. I mean, if there's fabric, does it make it a doll?
Well, that
is the delineation between action figure and doll fabric?
That's a philosophical debate I wasn't prepared for today. Because there's some fabric on. You get fabric costuming on some action figures. I think scale has more to do with that.
Well, but I don't think you can. But I think they go hand in hand because fabric on smaller action figures becomes pretty impractical.
Yeah, I just still think that the inserting of the figure into a package creates such a unique whole of creativity that it really adds to the whole mystique of the
and building the package, right? Because there was no Admiral Catherine Janeway. So he had to build the graphic there, templated off the Playmates one. I don't know how we did it. It's fantastic. Yeah, really, really, really cool stuff. We have more from Rich, including some of my favorites from Rich. We can't show yet. We cannot show to Mike yet because of spoilers. We can't do it. So, Rich, look forward to seeing some of your next figures in 3 years when we finish Deep Space Nine. But really awesome. Thank you so much.
Welcome
for
to the show.
That.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. If you would like to send your figures, and we don't know you already, you can send them to look at my Star Trek toys at gmail.com. So the last thing I want to do, one of the other things that we ask for, and here's our shopping list of things to ask for. We want to see your figures, obviously, your amazing custom figures. We want to see the figures that went horribly awry and are abominations that should not exist. We want to see your Star Trek fan films, especially if they were made when you were a kid. Super, super fun. And lastly, we want your play sets, and lastly, any photography that you do with the figures, whether you build it into a play set, whether you take it out into other places. You want to do them realistically, you want to play with scale, you want to play with storytelling, whatever it is. And 7, any goofy thing you can do with the Picard, the 2022 Picard. What goofy thing is 2022 Picard doing? So we have a whole laundry list to send to look at my Star Trek toys at gmail.com. But this last thing that we're going to finish with is one of those pictures of storytelling with the figures in a new way from our old friend, I believe first time on the show, Hector Canales. Here, he sent this, which is the crossover everybody would love to see, the BORG on the original series bridge. How cool would that be?
So cool. I love that there's still some storytelling coming. The BORG is definitely has the high ground. They are looking intimidating. Kirk was like, "Yeah, I don't have to get up for this." He's just casually glancing off.
Kirk is like, "Yeah, whatever. Yeah, deal with those BORG. Yeah, whatever. And Uhura, take care of that."
Let's not underestimate what's happening. Explain to me in the whole diorama thing here. It looks paper based. The background just seems that, and the chair does that come with something?
Yes, that background and that chair come from the original series box set with the entire bridge crew of the original series. So the BORG are invading that. So I believe that's a Series 1 and Series 2 BORG next gen invading the bridge there. Super fun. The mind goes crazy with ideas of what that episode would be. We've done some pretty clever things integrating contemporary things into the original series. Somebody has to have thought about doing that. Anyway, it would be really, really fun. And thanks to Enterprise, maybe canonically possible. I don't know. So anyway, really love it. And so here's the other thing that I really love about Hector. Mike, we have his logo above.
Mm-hmm.
Here, just days after WrestleMania, do you know that Hector is a professional wrestler?
You know, it does seem like he's cutting a visual promo there, so I'm not shocked to hear it.
He is a legit professional wrestler in Los Angeles. So check out his channel at The Real Hector Canales right here on the YouTube for and I love the intersection of interests.
Yeah.
Professional wrestling stuff, and he does his own unboxing and reviews of the Playmates action figures.
Do you have a wrestling podcast? Because we'll cross contaminate. We'll go over there and appear. Yeah.
Well, we met him through our wrestling episode, so maybe we'll have to have him on at some point. Anyway, so that is it for all of our nonsense here on Customs 18. Can you believe this is our 18th episode of Customs by now?
I'm aging before my own eyes.
Aren't we all? All right. So thank you to everybody who sent in their amazing work. As always, you can join them at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com. When you send us stuff, please be patient. Sometimes it takes a while to filter through all of our episodes. It takes... So I understand I have a backlog and there's amazing stuff in my inbox that I can't wait to get to. We're going to get there. Send in your list of 7 things that I've requested. I'm not going to name them again because I don't remember them. But what I do remember is you can give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps other people find the channel and helps to support us. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/K&M. You can leave us a tip right here with a super thanks, and we will be super thankful of that. And we thank you for watching. If you've done all those things, tell a friend who might be interested in our nonsense. Check out Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine and K&M Geekly, both of them produced every week right here on the YouTube. Mike, till then, this has been
Keith and Mike. Oh no!
Watch. No, we have the jingle.
There's too many shows.
Look at my Star Trek toys.